Welcome, or welcome back if you're new. It's been a couple weeks, but even though life has been busy, I have quite a bit to show you. So I'm not even sure how many whips I have here. I have 2 finishes, 1 new start, and a pile of whips. So I started off on my whips trying to shoot for 1,000 stitches each. You're going to see that sometimes I exceeded that, sometimes I hit 1,000, but we'll go from there. I also have a Stitch of Kindness I want to share, and I have 1 book review. So not too much today. I think we might go pretty quickly. So my first finish was one of my Christmas pieces. I became burned out on Christmas, and I just decided I wanted to finish 1 piece. That way I felt I accomplished something, and I came down to 2 projects that I thought I could finish, and I decided to go for Santa. So this is Santa by Stitcharea on Etsy, and this is a quote from the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation movie. It says, "And when Santa squeezes his fat white behind down that chimney tonight, he's gonna find the jolliest bunch of a-holes this side of the nut house." And this is on a piece of fabric. I should have brought my board. Piece of fabric that I dyed myself. The only changes I made was this candy cane is backstitched, and these candy cane letters for nut house are backstitched. And so they used full stitches, and I really hate when the backstitch bisects my stitch. So my cross. So I put in 3/4 fractional stitches, just so when I put the back stitch in, let's see if I can bring this close and you can see one. So for example, on that end, you would have had the colors outside the black back stitch. So I just rounded those all off so it looked better. And so there it is. And I think I'm going to finish this. I won't be finishing this until later, closer to Christmas, but when I do, I think I'm going to do it some sort of a flat design, and I will put magnets on it so it can go on a door or a refrigerator or whatever. Okay. Oh, I didn't tell you, I predominantly stitch on Aida, 2 strands, so I do the loop start. So 2 strands over 1 full cross, unless I'm working on a kit, which I'm not this time, and then I'll follow what is suggested. My next finish is kind of a bit of a downer. This is my tarot card. I'll go ahead and show you. This is the Cursed, and this is Samara from the Ring. And here's where it was before. I didn't do that. Here's where it was before. This is on an 18 count Shadow by Picture This Plus. And Samara was portrayed by approximately 10-year-old Devea Chase. I know she moved to Los Angeles with her mother for her acting, and she kind of took off pretty quickly. She was 6 when they moved there. She was 9, 10 when she portrayed Samara. She also did the voice for Lilo and Lilo and Stitch. She did a few other things, but she never quite reached the height that she had with those 2. And she kind of disappeared, and I'm not one who follows a lot of celebrity stuff, but I learned she passed away in June, and I didn't learn this until a couple weeks ago. And so because I'd already started this one, I decided to go ahead and work on this. I have very strong feelings about children in the acting industry. She won an award at the age of 12 for portrayal of a villain, for her portrayal of Samara. And her friends have said that she got into substances by around 13. She was homeless for the last decade or so. She wasn't broke, but she was homeless. She was very, very ill. She was 35 years old when she passed away. So this is another child actor who just did not survive Hollywood. And so while I kind of worked out my feelings about how we treat children in Hollywood, I finished this. So now let's get on to something a little bit happier. I had a new start, and I started this with Lil of Voyage to a Million. I always want to say a voyage, but it's Voyage to a Million Stitches. We have started this one. This is Now I Believe in Love at First Sight by Adrian Borda. Watch me shorten that to Now I Believe in Love or Love at First Sight or something of that nature. So I like to start in the upper left-hand corner. And so I start in the upper right-hand corner. And so I start up here, and then I realized that I could work on the shadow of the cat. So that's what I did. I started, so you can see I'm coming down, there's the ears, and I'm coming down into his or her face. And I will, more than likely, you can see I gridded the section that would easily fit in my hoop. So I will probably fill out that section and then decide where I want to go from there. So on this one, I put in 3,350 stitches, bringing this to 5.01%. And if I didn't say, this is artwork by Borda Adrian, charted by UnconventionalXStitch. And I'm stitching this on a 18 count antique blue by Zweigart. So that was fun. There is a lot of black. More than 50% of this chart is black. But yeah, you can see there are a lot of different colors that I got in here, but this was all pretty much black in here. So yeah, next time I'll come up here and start filling in all this and then work my way out. So that was my new start. And after that, I got into all the different whips. So the first one I told you I was going to work on was Midsummer's Eve. This is artwork by Jennifer Taylor, charted by Contemporary Cross, and I'm doing this on a 20 count Aida. I have 3 projects from Jennifer Taylor, and I'm doing them all on 20 count. 2 of them are the exact same size, one is smaller, but I wanted the stitches to look the same on all her pieces. So this is where I was working, and I was just filling in here and bringing this down a little bit. And yeah, again, I'll just probably work my way. I was going to work my way back across because let me show you. I originally started it on the left. I prefer to work on the right. And so what I want to do, if I put the picture back up of what this is going to look like, I want to work my way down in columns. Got it right this time, it's not rows. So that I can get into a lot of the other colors. So you can see in here, there was a lot of the checkerboard type stitching, which I'm not a fan of. And so that kind of burned me out. But coming down here, I think I'm getting out of that checkerboard. So yeah, I'm gonna just kind of take this down and see if I can get to some other colors. So this one here, I put in 1,113 stitches, bringing this, no I didn't, I'm on the wrong one, 1,646 stitches, bringing this to 10%. I would love to have like solid percentages instead of fractional percentages. Okay, the next one is Death in the Garden. This is artwork by Megan Majewski, charted by UnconventionalXStitch, and my fabric is giving me trouble here. I was working in this section right in through here. So you can see I put a little bit down here, but it was mostly this here. So here's where it was before. And on this one, I put in 1,113 stitches, bringing this to 37.12%. And if I can open this up, nope, I should have brought my board. So that's her face. You know what, I think I'm gonna take a picture and I'll insert that of where that is, because that's just too hard to hold up without a board. Okay, this next one does not work in Pattern Keeper. This is by Trails and Stitch and More on Etsy. And this is called Bride and Frankenstein. And there's where I am. So here's where it was before. I'm stitching this on an 18 count discord by Picture This Plus. You can see this is my hand. I thought this was going to be so much bigger. So I was working up here in Frankenstein's hair, and I brought it down and then came back up and then started filling in the eyes. She has a high collar here, and then they'll have their shirts. But yeah, I figured I'm not stitching, let me put this back up. I'm not stitching that creamy background. I will put the small motifs in, and I'm not stitching the border all the way around it. So I'm just stitching them and those little motifs around them. So here is, I've got a pretty big piece of fabric, so I won't have any problem getting this to fit. So that was fun. I don't know, like I said, this is not in Pattern Keeper, but I did just work on black. This next one, I just worked on black as well. I should probably title this the episode of black, or the episode of 310. This is Broken Wings. This is by Ines Guerrero. This was charted by Thread Geeks. Thread Geeks. I always say it backwards. I added 1,119 stitches, bringing this to 11.53%, and I just worked down here in the black. And you would not believe how much confetti is up in here. And so I've been really busy with the grandkids and all the summer activities, and I just wanted to be able to put stitches in, and I wanted to see progress. So I didn't want to deal with the confetti and having to stop and start. So that's why I came down here and started filling in more of her, I think they're shorts. So yeah, this is on a 20 count Aida that I dyed myself. And did I say I'm now at 11.53%? Okay, and then we moved on to another one by UnconventionalXStitch. And this is by Starlight. It's by Deanna Bach Art. I don't believe this is available anymore. I believe this was discontinued or retired. I put in, I don't know how many stitches I put in. So this is one that, with everything going on, there were days that I'd pick it up for a little bit and put it down, pick it up for a little bit and put it down. And so I didn't, I thought maybe I'd pick it up again later, so I didn't put the total in for the day. So I don't know, but here's where I am. So I just worked on this bottom section. I added more colors in here, more colors here, and then all of this, which I believe is her hair starting, is all new. So there's where it is. I should probably go back to the board, right? Do you guys want to see the board back again? So this one here is now I should say this is what it was supposed to look like, and I've cropped it to look like this. So when I give you my numbers, my percentages, it's based on the crop size, and I'm now at 11.83%. And so the next one, which is my last one, is by Giuseppe Maccone. The artwork is. It was charted by Stitching Moon Designs, currently not available. I'm stitching this on a 20 count Aida by Color and Cotton called Aquarius. And, okay, where did I work? I know that I filled in this little section here, and at some point here I filled in, I did all of this and all of this. And so you can see I'm just working on the bottom and bringing my way back up. This is another one I'll take a picture because it's way too long to get all in the screen. I put in 3,580 stitches, taking this from 48.22% to 51.73. So I have finally passed the halfway point on this. My goal for this, and I forgot to mark down how many I have left. My goal for this is to finish this, all the black, before 2027. And so now I'm somewhere down around 3,800 stitches. So I think that's a lot more, well, I could have done the math on that, right? I had 7,700 when I picked this up of black stitches remaining, and I completed 3,580, so do the math. But yeah, so, oops, wrong part. So yeah, look, I had this section. Now the reason I stopped here is I had this gridded to this point, and you can see I've come up and gridded the next section. So when I pick it up again, I can just start stitching. So that was the cross stitch I've done in the last 2 weeks. So that comes to just over 10,000 stitches of full coverage, and then I'm not sure how many I put into my non-full coverage. Okay, so now before I show you my Stitch of Kindness in my book, I want to talk about a Flosstuber and talk about plans, and then we'll go into the books and the Stitch of Kindness. So the Flosstuber I want to talk about, I just found her last night. I curled up and thought, let's watch a video. And her channel is Raw Stitches, R-A-R-A. Her name is, I believe, Kira, and her brother couldn't say her name and he called her Raw. She calls herself a nerd. She does a lot of gaming pieces. She also does samplers, but more modern samplers, like the Blue Flower. She has 3 full coverage, so she does do a little bit of full coverage. But I found myself just grinning, kind of chuckling with her. Her personality was fantastic. And I just enjoyed her, and I thought, wow, I want to watch more. So go check out Raw Stitches. And she was very comfortable, it seemed, in front of the camera. I just got the impression she's done this before, so I don't know. But this was I watched her first video. Okay, so let's get into plans. Plans. It's time to go back to my focus piece. So as you know, I have 2 focus pieces. One is Strength, and the other one is Stone Expression. I'm sorry. Strength is by Nicole Payne, charted by UnconventionalXStitch, and Stone Expression is artwork by Giuseppe Macconi, same as Life Support, and it's charted by Stitch and Moon Designs. Now she's currently got her shop closed. I will let you know if she opens it back up again. These 2, well, at different percentages. Here, I'm going to put where they're at now on the screen. So here's Stone Expression, and here's Strength. Strength, I have completed 76.51%, and I have 46,000. Let me pick up my notes here. 46,386 stitches remaining. Stone Expression, I'm at 49.48%, and I have 47,652 stitches remaining. So I don't want to be so rigid that sorry about that, that I say to you, I'm going to only work on this one. So I think what I'm going to do is the beginning of each week, whichever one is calling to me at that time, that's the one I will pick up and work on for those weekdays. And then the next week I'll do the same, whichever one's calling to me. I want to finish both of them before the end of the year. So if I want them done by November 1st, I have to put in around 5,000 stitches on each one. Each time I pick it up, I would need to do like 5,000 stitches a week, and then they'll both be done by November. I don't know if that's possible yet in August. Maybe as the weather cools and I'm inside and I'm more alone than with all the kids and stuff, I will have more time. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot for my 5,000 stitches, and any time I have left the rest of the week, I will pick up something else and work on it. It may be one of my whips. It may be, I may start another tarot, or I don't know. As far as tarot, I don't know which one I'm starting next. My grandson will be here tomorrow, and my grandson likes to talk about the different horror characters. Now, he doesn't get to watch them yet. He's too young, but he's really obsessed with talking about the horror characters. And he knows them all by name, even though he's not watched a single one of the movies. So I think I'm going to let him pick which one I do next. So that's what's going to be happening. You're going to see Strength and Stone Expression, and then whatever else calls to me, because it'll be a nice break to just kind of, sweetie, stitch what you want. So now the next thing I have is the Stitch of Kindness. My neighbor, she's a sweet lady. her health has not been the best, and she was in the hospital for the last 2 weeks. And I take it she needed something to do with herself while she was in the hospital. But she came home yesterday, and she shortly after knocked on my door and said, "You've always been so kind to me. I made this for you, and I just finished it." And it's this beautiful blanket that she crocheted. So I'm not going to open the whole thing up. It is a perfect lap size. And since I'm in a wheelchair, this is perfect for winter. It is just the right size to throw over my lap, but not drag on the floor. And so I was just blown away. And so I wanted to share that with you. Finally, I have one book that I finished. I've been listening to a couple, or trying to listen to a couple audiobooks, and I just can't get into them right now. So this is the one that I finished. That's Not My Name. This is by Megan Majewski. You can see her name down there. I did not know, I had never heard of this author. And when I pick up a book where I've never heard of the author before, I'll look at the author's bio. And when I did, I realized that this was a young adult book. She writes young adult stories. That is not to say that it was not a good story. I really enjoyed the story. So this is the story of two individuals. So you have Drew and Lola. They're the story revolves around Drew and Lola. I'm going to put that down here. Drew and Lola are out one night. She decides she's walking home. She doesn't want him to give her a ride home. You find out later why. And then the next day, Drew finds out that she never made it home. And so he is the prime suspect because he admits he was the last one to see her. And the sheriff just knows he's going to bust this kid. And so pretty much the entire town, except for one person, turns against him. Eventually, another friend of his who was best friends with Lola realizes that he had nothing to do with her disappearance. And those three go on a search to try to find her. Drew had been doing it on his own, and now the two friends have joined up with him and are helping him to locate her. Then you have the story of a girl. You're told her name is Mary. She's found bruised and battered on the side of the road. The police take her back to the police station and they give her food. They find out she has amnesia. She knows nothing. And while they're talking to her and taking care of her, a man shows up. He says his name is Wayne. He lost his daughter. They were coming out to the cabin. She was driving her car, and he can't find her anywhere. And he starts describing her, and they say, "Oh, wait, we've got this girl in here." So the officer that is working with Mary, the girl, I'll just call her Mary, he does his job amazing, right? He says, "Well, I can't let you take her until you prove to me that you're her father." And he shows on his phone, he's got all these pictures of her from the time she was little all the way up. He says, "Okay, good, but I want more proof. I want to see a birth certificate, social security card, something." And so they agree to go out to his cabin. He says he has all that out of his cabin. And so she gets in Wayne's van, and the officer comes out and says, "No, you're going to ride with me until I have proof. You're going to stay with me." So he's doing a fantastic job. He gets out there, he sees the birth certificate, he sees all that, and he leaves Mary with Wayne. And Mary just doesn't feel right. She's questioning, is my name Mary? What is going on? There's nothing familiar here. And little by little, she starts having some memories. And she pictures who she thinks is her mother. And it doesn't fit the description Wayne gave her of her mother, so she's trying to figure out who this is. So you have those two stories going. Mary's not sure that what she's being told is the truth, but she keeps saying, but he has pictures, he has a birth certificate, he has all this. And then you have Drew and his friends who are trying to find her, and Drew is being accused of having done something horrible to her. So it's a very good story. It unwinds a little differently than I expected, which was good. I think that was really good. So that's kind of what I have for you. I'm going to try to be back in about 2 weeks. I think recording on a Sunday pretty much works for me at this moment while I still have the kids in and out. So maybe not next Sunday, but the following Sunday, I will record a video and get it up for maybe the Monday. Anyway, life is good. Weather's unpredictable. It's mid-afternoon because we had thunderstorms all morning. This is not our typical August. August is usually hot and dry, and we're looking at an entire week of nothing but rain. The temperatures are cooler. I'm a little nervous. That means winter's coming early. But I'm just going to kind of ignore that. I'm not a winter person. I don't like to be cold. But other than that, everything is good. So I hope everything is good with you. And so if you made it this far, tell me what you were working on while you hung out with me. And yeah, tell me what's going on in your life. And I will see you hopefully in about 2 weeks. Bye.